We've all been there, stuck in a frustrating debate where logic, facts, and basic reasoning seem completely useless. You know, like trying to teach a goldfish to play the tuba underwater. It's just not going to happen. No matter how much evidence you provide, the other person just doubles down on nonsense, digging themselves deeper into a hole of their own making. So what do? Should you walk away, preserving your sanity, or engage in battle, risking a descent into the abyss of absurdity? In this video, we break down the rules of arguing with idiots. Because yes, there's a strategy to it. If you must engage, do it wisely. Look, if you're going to engage in the perilous quest of arguing with an idiot, the first and most crucial rule is this: don't accidentally join their ranks. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, to let your emotions take over and cloud your judgment. But remember, the goal is to maintain your composure and not let their irrationality drag you down to their level. It's like entering a mud wrestling match wearing a white tuxedo. You might think you're prepared, but the environment is designed to ruin you. The more you engage, the dirtier you get, and soon enough, you won't be able to tell the difference between you and the person you're arguing with. Sure, you might be tempted to get down in the muck and wrestle dirty, but trust me, it's not a good look. When you stoop to their level, you lose the high ground, and with it, your credibility. It's important to stay above the fray, to keep your arguments clean and your demeanor professional. Arguing with bad logic doesn't mean you should abandon good logic. In fact, it's more important than ever to stick to sound reasoning and clear evidence. When faced with fallacies and misinformation, your best weapon is the truth, presented in a calm and rational manner. You're not trying to out-idiot the idiot, are you? Because that's a race nobody wins. It's a futile effort that only leaves you exhausted and frustrated. Instead, focus on making your points clearly and effectively, without getting drawn into a pointless back and forth. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It just makes the whole situation messier and more volatile. Adding fuel to the fire only escalates the conflict, making it harder to resolve and more damaging in the long run. Instead, you need to be the calm, collected voice of reason. When chaos surrounds you, your calmness can be a beacon of clarity. It shows that you're in control, that you're not easily rattled, and that you can handle the situation with grace. The one who brings facts, logic, and a healthy dose of skepticism to the table. Your arguments should be well-researched and backed by evidence. This not only strengthens your position, but also makes it harder for the other person to dismiss your points. Think of yourself as a verbal surgeon, carefully dissecting their arguments with precision and clarity. Each point you make should be like a scalpel cut, clean and precise, aimed at exposing the flaws in their reasoning without causing unnecessary damage. You're not there to yell, scream, or resort to personal attacks. Those tactics might feel satisfying in the moment, but they ultimately undermine your credibility and distract from the substance of your arguments. You're there to expose the flaws in their reasoning and let the audience see them for what they are. By staying calm, collected, and focused on the facts, you can effectively dismantle their arguments and demonstrate the strength of your own position. Remember, the goal is not just to win the argument, but to do so in a way that upholds your integrity and leaves a lasting impression of reason and rationality. Now you might be thinking, why bother? Why expend your precious energy and time on someone who seems so set in their ways, so resistant to change? It's a valid question and one that deserves a thoughtful answer. Isn't it a waste of time and energy to argue with someone who's clearly not interested in listening? Someone who seems to have their mind made up no matter what evidence or logic you present? And to that I say, fair point. It's true that some people are so entrenched in their beliefs that no amount of reasoning will sway them. But here's the thing, it's not always about changing their minds. It's incredibly tempting to just throw your hands up in the air and walk away, to decide that it's not worth the hassle, that your peace of mind is more important than engaging in a fruitless debate. But here's the thing, sometimes silence is not an option. Sometimes the stakes are too high to simply walk away. Sometimes the very fabric of our shared reality is at risk. Some ideas are so dangerous, so utterly divorced from reality that we can't just let them slide. We have to confront them head-on, with all the passion and conviction we can muster. Imagine for a moment that you're at a dinner party, and someone starts spouting off about how the Earth is flat. It's a ridiculous notion, one that's been debunked countless times, but there they are insisting on it. Now you could just ignore them, Let them stew in their own misguided beliefs. You could decide that it's not worth the effort to engage, that it's better to just let them be. But what if they start influencing others? What if their nonsense starts to take root in the minds of those around them? What if their misguided beliefs begin to spread, like a contagion? What if their brand of crazy starts to spread like a virus, infecting the minds of those who might not know any better, who might be swayed by their confidence and conviction? That's when it becomes our responsibility to step in and say, hold on a minute, that's not how reality works. We have to be the voice of reason, the ones who stand up for truth and logic. We have to stand up for facts, for logic, for the very idea that there is such a thing as objective truth. Because if we don't, the line between reality and fiction becomes dangerously blurred. Because if we don't, who will? If we don't take a stand, if we don't fight back against the spread of misinformation, then who will be left to defend the truth? It's a heavy responsibility, but one that we must bear if we want to preserve the integrity of our shared reality. When you're arguing with an idiot, the chances of actually changing their mind are slim to none. It's like trying to convince a cat to fetch. It's just not in their DNA. So if it's not about them, who is it about? The answer, my friends, is the audience. Think of it like a public service announcement. You're not going to convince the person who's already convinced that vaccines cause autism. But you might just reach that one person who's on the fence, who's open to hearing both sides of the story. You're planting seeds of doubt, encouraging critical thinking, and hopefully preventing the spread of misinformation. And that, my friends, is a noble goal indeed. Ah, the internet, a vast, sprawling digital landscape where information flows freely and everyone has a voice. It's a place where you can find communities of like-minded individuals, share your thoughts, and even learn something new every day. But as with any open forum, it also has its fair share of pitfalls. A glorious bastion of free speech where anyone can share their opinion, no matter how ill-informed or downright bonkers. From the most insightful commentary to the wildest conspiracy theories, it's all out there for the world to see. And while this freedom is one of the internet's greatest strengths, it can also be one of its most significant weaknesses. But here's the thing about idiots. They have a remarkable ability to rewrite history. In the heat of an argument, facts can become twisted, and memories can become conveniently selective. It's not uncommon to see people vehemently deny things they said just moments ago, or to watch them twist your words to fit their narrative. They'll deny saying things they clearly said, twist your words to fit their narrative, and generally make you question your own sanity. It's a frustrating experience, to say the least. You might find yourself doubting your own memory, wondering if you really did misunderstand or misinterpret what was said. That's why it's absolutely crucial to keep the receipts. In this digital age, where information can be so easily manipulated or erased, having concrete evidence is more important than ever. Screenshots, links, sources, these are your weapons against the ever-shifting sands of idiocy. Screenshots, links, sources, these are your weapons against the ever-shifting sands of idiocy. When you have a record of what was said, you can hold people accountable. You can show them, and anyone else who might be watching, that you're not just making things up. You have the proof right there in front of you. When they inevitably try to backpedal, to claim they were taken out of context or misunderstood, you can hit them with the cold, hard evidence. There's a certain power in being able to say, actually, this is what you said, and then showing them the proof. It can stop an argument in its tracks and leave the other person scrambling for a new excuse. It's like bringing a stack of meticulously organized documents to a playground argument. While everyone else is relying on their memory and their ability to spin a story, you have the facts laid out in black and white. It might seem a bit extra, but in a world where misinformation is rampant, it's a necessary step. Sure, it might seem a bit extra, but trust me, there's nothing more satisfying than watching an idiot squirm when they're confronted with their own words. It's a moment of vindication, a reminder that the truth still matters. So keep those receipts. You never know when you might need them. Arguing with idiots is about as enjoyable as a root canal. It's exhausting, it's frustrating, and it rarely ends the way you want it to. But sometimes it's a necessary evil. So how do you do it without losing your mind or your dignity? Let's break it down. Don't stoop to their level, pick your battles wisely, remember it's about the audience, and always, always keep the receipts. And hey, if all else fails, just remember, you're not alone. We're all in this together. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go bang my head against a wall. It seems like a more productive use of my time than engaging with certain corners of the internet.